Silver prices have had quite the run this past week, as many of you know, and here to talk about it is Rick Rule. Rick, it's great to have you.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
So, Rick, what are you seeing in this run-up on silver?
Well, the first thing is that silver was simply oversold. I think the run that we've seen so far is merely a reflection of deeply oversold conditions. I think the fundamentals are, of course, favorable for gold and silver, but the first part of the move that we've seen, I think, is simply a reflection of deeply oversold conditions. You know, we had a dichotomy in both the gold and silver markets 2 or 3 months ago, where the paper markets, the futures markets, were very, very soft, but the physical markets were very, very, very strong. And so I think we've seen a move from weak hands, that is, leveraged long futures buyers, to strong hands, basically individuals unleveraged buying for cash in the physicals market. And I think the physicals market has begun to overcome the futures market.
So, Rick, does that mean at this point we've gotten way too high for people to jump in at this level?
I think that depends on people's orientations. Certainly for traders, the market is permissive for going sideways for a while, for digesting the gains. If you're buying silver for the reasons that I buy silver, which is to preserve your purchasing power over time, or maybe to get a little alpha over the gold trade, the gold precious metals trade, then by all means, this is a fair time to be in the market.
So you're speaking of gold. We've seen that spread, that ratio kind of tighten between the two. What are you making of gold at this point?
The same comment, except for a much broader, much less volatile market. I think the big story in gold has simply been the fight again between the futures market, which was a leverage long directional market that unwound, and the physical market, where you had living, breathing human beings buying gold. It's interesting to note, in particular, with regards to physical buying, India, where they've placed 3 different excise taxes on gold and silver, and have thus far failed to stem the demand for gold and silver, partly because of smuggling, partly because coming into festival season, people are willing to pay the tax. It would seem as though the physical market in both gold and silver is difficult to constrain at this price point.
All right, final question, Rick, real quickly. Buy silver, buy gold?
For myself, there's 2 parts to every buy, a fear trade and a greed trade. I'm a fear buyer, and so I personally am a gold buyer. Gold has always satisfied the fear trade as a consequence of its use for years and years and years as portfolio insurance. Silver certainly gives you more alpha, and if I might say, your listeners need to broaden their horizons a little bit and consider platinum and palladium, which of course have, I think, the best supply to demand fundamentals of all of the precious metals.
All right, Rick. Well, hopefully we can have you back. We'll touch more on the other precious metals. Thanks so much.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak to your network.
For The Street, I'm Deaux.